This is Sammy's comfort zone.
We have decided after shooting our
Non-verbal consent is not enough.
so today our document here is basically if
You can also catch me on Instagram at S4_SAMZ. Or you can inbox the Sammy's comfort zone Instagram.
So this is panel discussion between. Yep. So I know I sent you emails about panel 1.
Yes.
Yes, and that's what you probably prepared for. But let's just jump into it. So the theme is still the same. We're shaping our society, how we can become better versions of ourselves. And this specific topic goes to something that we've all experienced. Who was born in Africa? No? Are there any Irish-born Africans? Use your chest. Oh yeah. Oh Ella. All right. So growing up in Africa. So this discussion is going to be a bit more fun and loose. So feel free. Growing up in Africa, we had a thing called punishment. But it was not punishment in our eyes. Personally, I felt like they hated me. I was adopted. What is happening, you know? But every child did. I mean, if they're told to go wash the dishes, I'm like, huh? I just did them, like, you know, in the afternoon. My siblings have to do them now. We were told to cook, and I'm like, no, I just cooked. Like, these people hate me. Who are they? These are not my parents. But today, I can cook. I can clean, you know? But there was that small element that did not really make us happy. And that was when we got punished and we got hit. So how many of us got hit when we were growing up? Even in school? No? You went to private schools?
No.
So even African schools used to hit kids. And this is called corporate punishment. So that's our topic today. We're going to talk about how corporate punishment shapes who we are, or it does not shape who we are. So this is where, when we spoke about nature versus nurture, this is the opposite of it. Does corporate punishment work for us? And if we did not get that punishment, would we still be sitting where we are today? Would we become who we are? And yeah. Firstly, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself and your line of work for a minute. Start there.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Koketso Mohotlwane. I know I said Koketso Mohotlwane on Instagram. I'm originally from South Africa. I grew up there, but I've been here since I was 11. I am a graphic designer, photographer, videographer. I'm a mother and I'm a fiance. Yeah, I'm a fiance.
Yes.
And yeah, I just started making something called biltong, which is, you might know as beef jerky. In South Africa we call it biltong. So I make that to make some money, you know. And I work for a credit management company as a debt collector. I didn't mention it on the Instagram. That's why I just see. Well,
yeah, Tayo.
Okay, my name is Tayo Emmanuel, also known as T Styles, because I like fashion and I blog about it. I am a model, got signed this year.
I mean, look at you. I want tips. I'm going home with Tayo.
I have no tips. I eat chicken every day.
Where does it go?
Don't be deceived. I am a business analyst and I run a small company, I'll call it now, I'll call Irish Influencer Factory, and we do events, you know, to support the community. We help charities as well. So hopefully by 2020 you guys will come to the event.
Yeah.
Like I said, I work in the business analyst field in the financial sector, and I am all for women empowerment, helping each other.
Hence the panel.
Especially in Ireland, supporting each other. It's very tough for us, I would say, because I've been living here since when I was 5, like Ella,
Yeah.
what's saying,
Ella's the baby.
Joy,
yes,
was saying that it's very, very important not to limit yourself, and in Ireland it can be difficult because sometimes you look around and you're like, I'm the only black person, but this year I have at a mindset whereby whatever this white people are doing, the Caucasians are doing, I'm going to do it too. Because I've accepted Ireland as my country, and this is where I've been living. And when people ask me where you're from, I say I am Nigerian Irish. So, and they just have to accept it. And that's it.
Yeah. It's so funny, like, I actually take pride in being that 1% black person in the community, like 1% in my workplace, 1% in class. But yeah. So, Vicky Inspires, tell us about yourself.
My name is Vicky. I'm the founder of Vicky Inspires. What is Vicky Inspires? You might be asking. Vicky Inspires is like a platform. It's a podium. I'm the voice for the voiceless. I'm a mom of 2, aged 8 and 2. I'm a domestic violence survivor, and I speak about topics that people don't want to talk about. We've either witnessed it or gone through it, but we kind of keep it on the hush hush. So yeah, that's me.
Vicky Inspires. Geraldine.
Hi guys, my name is Geraldine, but Dean for short. Oh gosh, where did I start? So I am studying business marketing at the moment. I'm in my 2nd year, and I also am the founder of Royalty Dancers, which is like we do dance. I'm a dance teacher basically, and we do heels classes, and we do all we're broad basically, and we are all about self-empowerment, body confidence, and just self-empowerment as well. So we touch on that, and I just started a podcast called Vosho on the Beat. You can follow us on Instagram.
Vosho on the Beat.
Vosho on the Beat.
Nice.
We started that in the new year, and it's gonna just be a platform about black people growing up in Ireland, like being an Irish immigrant in Ireland. Well, African immigrant in Ireland. And just like how it is, like the truth of growing up here, being coping between the two, trying to identify who you are and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. And as well, it's kind of interesting with this topic coming. I'm a childminder part-time, so it's going to be interesting talking about this.
Interesting. I'm excited. These are amazing profiles. I mean, you guys are doing amazing, and most of them are all in connection to helping the other person. You make your Biltong to help the other person experience what you experienced back at home having Biltong. Yeah, your fashion. I mean, I stalk your page. I'll be like, what is she wearing now?
I think we all do.
We all stalk your page. But it's the same as what Joy was saying, that she doesn't notice that people are watching her, and people are watching you, girl. Vicky, where do I start with Vicky? Vicky is amazing. I mean, she's a domestic violence abuser. Like, not a lot of people go out. Where's the police?
Can you take that out? Can you go off live and respect it?
Thank you guys for coming. I mean, I'm done, right? Yeah, she's a domestic violence survivor.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, that's a lot. Like, it takes a lot of power to go out of it, Geraldine, you guys should watch her dance classes. You should go to her dance classes. I almost fell the other time because I'm like, how do I dance in heels? This is me watching a video at home, trying to watch myself in the mirror, preparing myself to attend a class that I never came, because I was like, oh, yeah. But so we're going to talk about corporate punishment. If you got the punishment that you got growing up, do you think you would still be the same person that you are? You said you didn't.
No, I said I think that in school.
Oh, in school, right. Because from my Nigerian friends, they'll be like, outside it's Ireland, inside it's Nigeria. So there's no way you're gonna skip it. So, do you think you'd still be the same person that you are if you did not grow up the way you did?
Definitely not. Well, so is that a question?
Yeah, that was you.
For me, corporate punishment, or raised by an African family, it has definitely worked. I grew up in a country where there was a lot of violence at the time when I was born, apartheid, and there was more violence than at home. So corporate punishment worked at home, you know, and even the Bible says, spare the child. What does it say? Spare the rod, spoil the child. So it has definitely helped me become the person that I am, because what my I was raised by my grandmother, God rest her soul, and she wasn't very open-minded. So whatever frustrated her, or if I did, and she was OCD as well, so if I dropped the glass, she will definitely give me a...
Did you get that whole...
Oh yeah, lots of times, even... What's wrong? Catch her! So, but it was kind of like, I knew that I was in trouble. You know you're in trouble. Yeah. And then you kind of learn from that, because you know the beating, it's painful. Yeah.
So, Tayo, do you think that there's a difference between corporal punishment and abuse? Do you think that corporal punishment is an excuse to abuse your kids?
I feel like growing up in Africa, some parents take the absolute piss to go above and beyond to beat the child to this stage that the child is bawling, the child have pains or bruises. I feel like that is not necessary. There are ways to discipline kids, like you might smack your child or tap your child. I was not tapped, I was whooped.
What's tapped?
But I do feel like sometimes it's too much. Like it's too much that there has been stories whereby parents have beat their kids to death. Like that is not necessary. If my mom, if she looks at me alone with her eyes, I have to run away. I will lock myself in the room, because I know if I come out, so I don't come out. So, but her approach of not beating me, giving me a look or probably like shouting at me, I know that okay, I am in trouble. It doesn't cost me anything to go and apologize, because if she takes the wooden spoon, I am finished.
You guys call it kopoko?
No, a wooden spoon is the wooden spoon.
Yeah, but what do you call it? No, what do you call it?
I didn't.
Is it not a koboko? Who's Nigerian? It's not a koboko.
I think it's like a belt.
That's what you used to beat the cows like. I wasn't that bad of a child to get to that extent, but my grandfather would use the broom to hit me, and my mom, if I get so much in trouble, the wooden spoon. But
and the shoes?
The shoes not so much, but the wooden spoon was the main one. But I do feel like I feel like that didn't shape who I am now, because her beating me was not like, oh, now I'm great, now I'm a good child. I still did bad stuff, and that's why she was beating me again. You know, but I felt like more of when she gives me the eyes, I know that I've done something wrong, so I have to apologize. And sometimes she would tell me to sit down and tell me, you can't do this and do that, you can't go out, you can't watch TV. More of the Western discipline, I think. I felt like that worked more for me. Or she would tell me, that party, you're not going. And so things that were important to me at childhood, I'm like, oh my God, if I do this, and my mom said I can't go to that party, I've been planning my outfit. Hey, so
as a fashion blogger, imagine planning your outfit.
I've been planning this out, I won't show people. So so I think that worked more for me than my parents beating me up. I guess.
So Vicky, as a mother of two, and from having an abusive relationship, do you believe in corporal punishment? Do you believe in healing your child for them to understand that what they did was wrong?
That's a tough one for me because I've had a hard life. That's what I'm trying to
do you hit your kids is the question?
No,
Okay.
but like in the sense like I'm a product of a child that was abused at home physically and emotionally, and then
From a child.
from childhood. Yeah, and then that then transitioned into, I suppose, an abusive relationship because to me it was the norm. That's what I mean. Like, when I say be, I mean like, not like, oh, the trust slipper, I mean like, you can't go to school for 3 days because you're swollen. Don't say anything or you're going to go to care. Wooden spoon broken on your body. That's what I mean. Like, it's not even like, so. With my kids, no, I can't mark them. No, but it's you. Just go there. No, like in the sense, like with my kids, I can't mark them. If my son does something, I might like smack his bum, like one, like not even tap, probably just poke it to the honest, and then he'll go off. But I can't. I think corporal punishment does not help you whatsoever. And obviously, I'm a product of it. You can lead you into an abusive relationship when you're older because my ex-husband would have known my childhood because I told him, I opened up to it, and this is what I went through and this is what I went through, and then you have all the emotional bonding stuff, and then that then transitioned into my relationship, you know what I mean, my marriage and stuff. So that's what I mean, the balance, like no, so no. In a short way.
So what you do? Not a corner.
I do. You're not going to football. I'm taking your tablet. You're not doing this and that. That's how I go. Yeah, like Brianna. Like in that sense, Brianna's mom. You're not going to your party at the moment. He's 8, so you're not going to football. It's like I killed him.
So Geraldine, you work with kids. How do you deal with being a child being bold, like to you, and then you just feel like the way I grew up, if I just beat you, you know? How do you process that emotionally? Like
So-
watching other kids thinking, what I went through as a kid, if I did that, every time I wanted to take something from the fridge, you had to go ask for permission. And before you get there, you probably thought of 3 answers that could have come. Like, should I, what should I say? And then you send your sibling that, go say you want this, you know? Because it's not even easy to ask for something.
Yeah.
But for you working with kids, how does it work when you see them being bold and you're like, ooh, if my mother sees you.
So I was like raised with women, and they were very strong, confident women. If you do anything, they would give you the eye, pinching, you know. It was serious.
I think we all got the eye, yeah.
They were very like, yeah, it was like they were very like strict. Everyone in my family knows I was raised with like my auntie and my grandmother. They were very strict women. There was you see them and you would like, change the road. You would change the road, you know. So growing up, I did get in trouble, but it was like they would throw the eye, it's pinching. I knew her to the sense that if I got hit, it's something that I did, not that like, oh, I was just doing something. No, she would sit down with me and tell me, like, to have a conversation with me. So what happened? This is what I know. Are we like on the same page? And then I get a smacking. It would annoy me and frustrate me because I'd be like, oh, this woman. You know, like I would be like, I'm not even gonna eat. And she'd be like, do you want more smacking? But she was very calm. She was very chilled. And even seeing like my sister, she's a bit more stubborn. She's a bit more, so she was more challenging. But my auntie was very chilled when it came to like discipline. In school, I tried to stay in my lane because at home, she would explain to me like, you know, this is what you are getting this because of something you did. You could have avoided it. But still, sometimes I would get spanked because I just tried to. So now I feel like you grow up with a different mindset about spanking. I didn't understand it growing up, even until I was older. I would just be like, it's what you get when you do something that you're not supposed to, you know, like that kind of thing. And then I got into childminding. And obviously moving here, like white people don't spank their kids.
Yeah.
Like,
and they go pink as well.
Yeah, like they don't. But I think it's a matter of, it's something that's not spoken of. That's the difference. They just don't talk about it like we all do. And, you know, they have their own way. So I had to start learning from them about, oh, you have to explain. Because I started with like 2 small boys, and in my life, I've lived with boys, and all I saw was chaos. So I was like, this is gonna be a nightmare. My frustration level is gonna be like this. But I saw how she talked to them, and then how they knew themselves, like, oh, it's a matter of talking. Sometimes they didn't talk, and you would have to take away bits and pieces and be like, listen, if you're gonna be like this, remember later you want to have like a chocolate bar. You are not gonna get that. So it took a while, but because they're so small, they kind of like they're spongy, so they take in quicker. Yeah, they get frustrated, but you have to be like really patient. So I had to learn to be patient. And then I got into a new job where it was more challenging because they're older now, and I literally cried. Because I was like, I had so much frustration. I was like, if they were my kids, if they were my kids, if this was in our house, you're getting a beating. Like, definitely. You know, to go now, what? Yeah. Not with me. But I had to like learn, no matter how frustrated I am and how angry I am, I have to literally like, count to 3. And then I sit him down. I do sometimes catch myself kind of be like, you. And then they know like I raise my voice. So I sit them down and be like, listen, I don't like what you did. I tell them, like, what you did made me very angry. Yeah. It's not fair. Yeah. So we need to sort this out. Yeah. If it's a matter of they did something, then I'll be like, yo, dude, you know where you need to go, right? I don't even need to say it sometimes. They just go themselves.
To the corner.
Yeah. And then now they're getting a bit older. You can't use the same punishment throughout. So it's a matter of sitting down and talking to them, because sometimes it's a matter of just like, they're frustrated and like they just want to talk it out. Sometimes they don't, and I'm like, listen, you have your room. Take your time. When you're ready, we can talk about it. Mm. But I know it doesn't always work that way. Like there are times where, but as a childminder, it's not in my place to
touch the kid.
To touch the kid like that.
Yeah.
I will kind of like touch his hand and be like, listen, I'm really angry. So he understands my emotions, because if you just look, they might not get it. But if like touch goes a long way. Yeah. And where I really feel
sorry, because we're gonna jump into another question now. So when I was growing up, we used to get hit in school. So if you got hit in school and you came home crying, you get hit again because why did you get hit in school? Yeah. So you must have been in the wrong, so you get hit again. Yeah. But the reason why I brought this topic of corporal punishment with shaping our society is that some things haunt us in our lives. Mm-hmm. You're an example of how that haunted you from your childhood to when you're married. Some things just teach us to be patient. Some things just teach us that we can go this lane, but we can't go that lane. Mm-hmm. So corporal punishment, bringing it to shaping our society, and that goes with the next question I'm about to ask, and I'm going to ask everyone to answer the question. Do you think that we are haunted by our past experiences? If we are haunted by them, can we change routes on how that makes us better, or do we just use that as an excuse?
For me, no, it doesn't haunt me, because I wasn't beaten for no reason. Like you said, it was the norm. In school, if you get beat, you get home. Even to the extent that, you know, it was so bad that the teachers would insult your parents. So when you get home, what are you going to say? Are you going to repeat what your teacher told you? No, you're not going to repeat that. But however, even when I came to Ireland the very first year, the second year, you know, I was asked to babysit, and I remember I did hit a child, and then the mother just came in. She's my auntie, and then she's like, no, they're not allowed to hit. I didn't even know that. So, however, on the other side of overseas, which is here, things are different. Corporate punishment doesn't work. It's not the environment for that. However, back home in some countries, they are trying to change it. So, it doesn't haunt me, because it was necessary and it worked for me. It worked for whoever was trying to discipline me, because they didn't do it for no reason.
Would you say you're business driven because of how you were raised?
Oh, I'm not business driven because well, that's a good question. No, I think I just come from a family of very strong women. My mom had a shop back home as well. So I just have that independent spirit, and I see it in my sister as well, my 8-year-old sister. So, wait, you asked me 2 questions at the same time. So, my business just comes from my own personal drive, and what I want for myself, and eventually at this point, what I want for my family. It makes sense because it's, every day you lose something, and that's money you spend. So there must be another way to generate that back into the family, and use that to educate yourself, to know what you need to do. And just coming back to the topic of, corporate punishment, and if it haunts me or not, it doesn't, again. But here in Europe, we have to adopt that thing, because children are not our property. They don't belong to us. We have to raise them and listen to them and do something different that our parents didn't do. Especially now that we are in a different environment, we have to adapt to that. So that thing doesn't work here.
So, like, the points that I'm hoping you guys as the panel would touch on is how you turned out to be through what you experienced through corporate punishment. Do you think that is you give it a bit of credit, or do you think it worsened you, or you chose a different path because you experienced that? You chose a different path because you're not going to touch your kids because you experienced that, So, do you want to?
Okay. Yeah. Can you ask that one more? But not 2 questions at once.
So I want the panel to touch the base of if you went through what you went through, does that define who you are and why you chose the decision to become who you are?
With that question, how I saw it was like, I can either play the victim, kind of, woe me, I've had a difficult childhood, I had a difficult marriage, and like, I'm allowed to just go and punch somebody or steal or just wreck the place because of what I went through. Or I could take that and be that voice for the voiceless and be that encouragement for somebody else to speak up and speak out. Because a lot of people like DM me, oh Vicky, you're so amazing, I went through that, I saw my mum go through that, my grandma, my auntie, but when does the cycle end? And the fact that I have a son and a daughter is that I kind of worry for them in that sense. Why I do this, it's kind of for like, what they're the next generation, what I will leave them, do you know, that kind of a way? Because so I'm making sure the cycle ends. Even though if I don't live to see it, at least I'll know I started something for them.
Personally for me, I don't agree to corporate punishment. I know growing up, I had a strong relationship with my mom, so we talk about everything. And I know that a lot of my friends will be like, oh, I hate my parents, I hate my mom. Like, they don't have that intimate relationship with them, and most of the time it's like, oh, my dad is so mean, I can't talk to him. And it comes from all those punishment and discipline and beating them. They don't want to connect with their parents. So when I go home and I tell my mom how my friends are thinking, she feels bad for them, but then she reminds me that, oh, you're still an African person. It's like, she can't tell me that what their parents is doing is wrong, because she understands where that comes from. But personally for me, I don't think it shapes me. Like my mom beating me or yelling at me or doing anything like that didn't shape me. But the advice and the communication and her leading me and nurturing me and telling me this is the right thing to do, this is the wrong thing that you've done. If you do it again, you will get in trouble. Don't do this again. So the advice more have helped me, and obviously I'm a good girl anyway, so I don't.
It's always the bad ones that say they're good.
I personally don't believe in it. I would not be eating my kids when in the future, but I will let them know that if you go to Africa and you do something wrong, somebody might beat you.
No, they sent you to Africa to get hit.
So, just so you know that in the culture you come from, when you do something wrong, the approach is different. So I will educate them to let them know, but me personally, I am not beating my child. No.
So, Geraldine, would you say that it shaped you?
Yeah, definitely. I think because I was never like a naughty, extremely naughty child. If I literally was getting beaten at home, it was because I did something I know I was told you shouldn't do. But she sat down and explained it to me. At first, I used to hate it when I was back home, and I didn't see the point of it because it's like, other kids are doing way worse. I only did. I just missed doing homework. That's all. You know? But then when I moved here, I was in class with other kids. I was so grateful. I called my auntie and I was like, I know I was really harsh about certain things, but I'm very grateful that you took certain measures when it came to like discipline, because I'm now more cautious. Like now, I think more before I do something, you know, like I think of the consequences of my actions, and when I do something I'm like, well, sis, you kind of like put it on you. Do you get what I mean? So I am grateful in a sense for the punishment, because it came with explanation and it came with like out of a loving place, because after she hit me, she'd be like, I really love you, it's just that I'm hitting you because I love you, okay? Yeah, she'd be like, I love you, like I'm not just beating you, I love you, and if I didn't love you, like I wouldn't do this, but this is what you did, you know? So I just want to ask at the time, like, yeah.
But do you not feel like her explanation to why she was beating you and communicating with you was what you understood more than when she actually beat you?
Oh no, yeah, definitely. I think it was like, she said it, but if she hadn't kind of put the extra oomph on it, I would probably try it again, like attempted it again. But by her just saying, this is why I'm doing it, and she hits me, I'm like, okay, so this is actually, I need to think about what I'm doing. Because her explaining just meant I did something wrong. But then her going as far as hitting me was like, you need to actually think about your actions and feel it. And know that if it was so, like, it can cause actual consequences, you know? So I think that's where the beating comes in. And then the loving part was just reassurance.
So I want to ask the audience, what do you guys, firstly I want to ask, how many of you were told to go pick up your own punishment stick? Like, yeah, there was a tree behind the house and we were told to go get a stick from the peach tree. And when you stand there, you're like, which one's the smallest? But the smallest one is actually the most painful one. Yeah. Do we have any questions from the crowd?
Yeah, I wanted to say, corporate punishment is good in a way, in a bad way. Yeah. And the good way is that when you know you want to do a bad thing, you're like, oh my god, if I do a bad thing, I'm going to get beaten and hope someone doesn't do it, so just stop it. But in a other sense, it's also bad because you kind of like miss the relationship with the parents. Like you said, like, you know, close, you always say, I hate my parents, I can't be open to my parents, and something like that. So when you really need them, like, you're in a tough situation, you can't really open to them because you're scared.
I wanted to say that just because it's normal doesn't mean that it's okay.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, everyone was like, oh, in my culture we do this, so therefore.
Can you hear her? Maybe be a bit louder.
So therefore, like, just because we see it, like, personally, I wasn't hit as a kid. That's not because my parents didn't hit kids, it's just because I was a good child. But like, I feel even if I was hit, it wouldn't really shape who I am. Like, it could for like the worst, possibly, because like, I see a lot of those countries that are like, it's culturally appropriate to hit your kids, also have a high abuse of like abuse or like stuff like that, and it's normalized more. Like, a woman in Africa right now would not be inclined to go report her husband because like a lot of people are like, sure, it's kind of normal. So I think it's a cycle. It's like a beginning of a cycle, beating your kids. yeah, some kids are like, okay, I get why you're being hit, but at the same time, it's not a solution.
Yeah.
So sorry, we're past our time now. Thank you so much to everyone who came. Thank you to the panel. Can we give the panel a hand of applause?
This is Sammy's comfort zone. We have decided after shooting our non-verbal consent is not enough. So today our argument here is basically, if you can also catch me on Instagram at S4_SAMZ, or you can give us the Sammy's comfort zone Instagram.